I'm financing a burrito right now. You may not believe me in any capacity. You may think I'm a psychopath, but a Cash App has this option where you can pay over time, where you buy something and then they give you the option to pay over time. I didn't know what this was about, so I tried it out. Turns out they charge you interest if you pay over time, if you don't do it that way. So I immediately just let it happen. I got my money back and they were like, yeah, you can pay over time. So I'm cool. I have money now that I can gamble now. I'm messing with you. I'm not going to do that. But still, it's really messy. It's really messy how this whole scam perpetuates. And I thought to myself, oh, this is just how credit cards work. Because guess what? That's exactly how credit cards work. We have put credit cards into every facet of our life. Now, I have never in my life had a credit card, despite the advice of hundreds of older people saying, well, you need to build good credit. If you don't have good credit, you can't really do anything in life. Turns out that was a whole lie. That was a big lie. I have no credit, period. And I have been able to get an apartment. I've been able to live my life pretty goodly. I just pay things in pure cash because I don't have credit or credit card debt. I've been saving and maneuvering money and just paying things in pure hard-earned cash because I have a pretty good savings account at the current moment. So that's what I've been doing. That's pretty much it. But what I've noticed is that everything wants you to pay over time. My friend bought a PS5 recently, and he is paying it in installments of $100 a month because he got it from Cashland. That's pretty regular. Cashland is a thrift store, or more so a pawn shop, that has a bunch of hand-me-downs that you can pay over time if you apply for the job. However, you have to pay interest on that. So instead of paying the regular $600, $700 for the PlayStation 5, he's actually paying closer to $900 for the PS5. He's getting scalped by this company. I've always been against the nonsense of paying over time. However, I'm now witnessing that Applebee's has it. At Applebee's, if you can't pay currently, you can put it on the kiosk, a little kiosk at Applebee's, where you can just pay over time using the thing where you order your food and it will be billed to you later. You can just do that. That is crazy. They know people are broke, but they want to eat out. They know you can enjoy the luxuries. And this is the beautiful thing. People think, they say, oh, well, the debt will just get passed on later to somebody else. The debt's going to go away eventually. It doesn't matter right now. People live so fast. They deal with instant gratification. They don't want to deal with the consequences of their actions. They don't want to deal with the bigger issues of the world going on. They don't want to deal with the fact that maybe, just maybe, me financing that burrito was a bad idea. They don't want to deal with that. That's not a good idea. Why did I finance a burrito? Simply because I want to see if Chipotle would get no money from that. Now I have $7 extra in my account and I'm paying on a weekly plan just to see what's going on. This is insane. The interest is nuts too. It's not even regular interest. Because if you don't have good credit, which is also a big factor of this, you don't have good credit. You know what happens? You don't have good credit. What happens is they say, well, your credit is in shambles. Your credit sucks. So what we're going to do is this cool little plan. Look, a pro gamer move here. You may have heard of it. It's called messing with everything else in your life by making the APY, or whatever the interest rate, we're going to make that 50%. Some places have an interest rate so deeply high. If you don't know what an interest rate is, I'll give you an example. Let's say you pay something for $1, right? Boom, that's $1. But then they said, well, you can pay over time and don't have to pay this dollar. You can just do installments of 10 cents over 10 months. And you say, okay, yeah, but there's an interest rate of 25%. So you say, okay, that's fine. So instead of paying 10 cents, you're actually paying 12. So over the course of those months, you're actually paying $1.25 over the course of 10 months. And you may think to yourself, well, that's later. I'll have more money later. No, you don't do that. You're paying more money over time. You're actively paying more money over time, especially with the economy and the value of a dollar getting decreased regularly and nonsensically. You're actually losing money more than that. If the value of a dollar keeps decreasing, instead of that 25%, that $1.25 is going to be $1.50 or maybe even $2, depending on how the economy gets deeper in shambles. And it's not just one thing where it's happening. All these other people just keep saying, oh, I'll put it to the next person. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll put it to the next thing. No, stop doing that. That's stupid. You're stupid for doing that. Just, if you can't buy something, don't try to buy it. Is that crazy? Well, how do I get a house? How do I get this? How do I get that? Plan better, dude. Do a better plan. Don't actively put down and say, well, I can take a loan out, and the loan is $10,000, and they want me to pay back $14,000 because I took out a $10,000 loan, and then they're just gonna keep billing me over and over time, and it's gonna be great because I'm be fine. I'm be perfectly fine. Don't worry about that. I'll be good. You're not gonna be good because you're setting yourself up for innumerous debt, and that debt's gonna keep lingering on the back of your thing, and you're gonna say, well, if I pay off more debt, then I'll get better credit, and the more I make my on-time payments, I'll pay more of that debt, so I can get a lower interest rate on the debt. Dude, this is a scam. How do you not see that it's a scam? How do you not see that? Credit was a system put in place to keep poor people poor, and the buy now, pay later, that's put in place to keep poor people poor so they can get a teaser trailer, a little demo of what it's like to actually have money. Because you're not going to have money if you keep paying back the money that you borrow. Because you're just borrowing and they're asking for more money back. That's all they're doing. They're making an investment in you, saying, hey, we believe that you're going to give us this money back. And if they don't, you got to give up collateral. What collateral do you have? You got a car? I'll take your car. Oh, you got your PC? I'll take your PC. How long into the buy now, pay later system tells you, well, you got to put in your social security number, you got to do this, we can take the clothes off your back, we can take your cat, we can take your children, we actually own most things in your life. And I have been reading terms and agreements for quite some time. They can take a lot more than that. They can access things that they didn't know. They can snip from your paychecks if you put your social security number in when you get a job. So you're gonna have to do underground jobs. Now I'm not talking about Uber Eats or something of that variety. I'm not talking about Grubhub or Lyft. I'm not talking about that, because those jobs require you put your social security number in. I'm talking about that weird, strange bar job where you're getting paid under the table for washing dishes. That's what you're gonna have to get. You're gonna have to get paid a job like that, because no golly gee Williker, no way, no on God's blue, sultry, little delicious jelly bean is this happening to us, where we're allowing ourselves to be scammed under the table and rug pulled like this. They're basically loan sharks without the leg breaking, but the leg breaking is more financially. I feel so bad for people that keep getting put into this credit loop over and over again. Credit is a fake system. All this credit score and all this nonsense, that's fake. That's so fake, dude. If you can't buy something 3 times over, don't buy it. That's a general rule of thumb. If you don't have enough money to buy it 3 times over, don't buy it. That's the rule that was ingrained in me by my father, who is now currently going through immense and innumerable amounts of debt. 3 times over. That is the amount of money. That is the amount of it that you need to be able to buy. Sick of these games. Sick of this BS, man. Sick of this credit fiasco, dude. It's nuts. It's nuts.
I'm your nigga night, be my lower slow. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.